We got this. We got that. We're going to click that. And that. Main. Good. 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 All right, let's get set up here. We have a Honda Accord. This is what I'm looking for. We're going to be doing all the sides and the back. $35 on the front doors. C2 ceramic. $20 on the rear. Gonna tape up some seals. Probably be good to turn the car on. What's up? All right, we're getting chat here. YouTube, TikTok. No. Let me click stop. Let me click activate. Let me click this. There we go. Perfect. Everything's working, I hope. It's going good. Let's get this one all cleaned up. Things seem to be working. We need to streamline a few more things. I gotta fix my towel situation too. I need a better place to put them, clean them. Might just get a dryer. Maybe we should get an electric dryer. What's up? All right, so I'm putting some tape on the inside seals. These are pretty clean. So the tape's really not going to do very much. What's your favorite GeoShield product? Probably... Oh, phone calls. Probably Apex. Hello, Detroit Tint Studio. How can I help you? Not much. What's up with you? No, I wouldn't unfortunately be able to get you in. We go by appointments. I could schedule you for Thursday. All right, no problem. And that's your, that's your, that's how it goes. That's why I hate answering phones. There's a few different types of tint customers. Oh, I had a call from him this morning, too. He said he'll call back to schedule an appointment. Yeah, the guy from yesterday. That's Detroit for you. A lot of the phone calls aren't like that. But we still get enough of that. And there's definitely a few different types of customers. Tint for some people is a very just, I woke up, I gotta get my shit tinted. Especially on the weekend or Friday rolls around. I just got my paycheck. I could go get my shit blacked out. Who can get me in now? But that's why I like going by appointments. I've been a part of a lot of shops that have walk-ins, and I'm not against them. The annoying ones are the people that call saying that they're going to come down right now, and then you start planning on them being there, and then they just don't show up. Or, it's 3 o'clock. I'm coming down. All right. And then they show up at 4:30. Can you still get me in today? I'm dropping it off. And you're like, fuck. They're just not going to even be here to pick it up. The Jamaican population here in PCB want it done now and cheap and don't show up. That's why I started taking deposits. There's plenty of that everywhere. Hey, look, it's C2 Ceramic 35. Do we go with this? Yes, we do. When I first started Detroit Tint Studio, I had been tinting for a long time. But I wasn't used to directly dealing with customers all day. But I would get so many people that would schedule or just be yes people. They go, yes, 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 yes. So they're either afraid to tell you no or they just don't care. But you run them through the options. Yes, that sounds good. Okay, and then you get to the price. And then they just say, okay, yep. Do you want to schedule? Yeah, that sounds good. And then they just, you put them on your calendar and then they're just not there. So very early on, I had to start taking deposits to filter all that out. So if somebody is serious about coming in, nobody cares about taking a deposit. It just helps. Because we're setting aside 2, 3, 4 hours, depending on the job. And you just got to make sure you have somebody. If you have enough people to fill up your schedule and other people waiting, deposits aren't necessarily as big of a priority because you have plenty of fallback. So I was used to working for places that just had a lot of extra people. If somebody didn't show up, there's usually another person that's going to be on the phone soon, or we got another appointment coming in. You always have your random slow days, but that was just part of it. But since I've been doing deposits, I've had one person not show up and I couldn't get a hold of them. But if you take money from somebody, they're easy to get a hold of. They will be there. Non-refundable deposits. You can do it any way you want. You can take any amount that you want. My deposits are going to be non-refundable, but it's been such a non-issue. It's non-refundable up to like a certain point. If you call me and you're like, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it to the appointment. I just want to go ahead and cancel," or even like, "Hey, I left a deposit, but I found something else." Dude, that's fine. I'm not looking to take your money. I just want to establish some type of a commitment from the customer. So when they leave a deposit, they stop looking, essentially, is what that means. But something happens or they change their mind, you know what? It's fine. I want to make this as easy for them as possible. So I'm not going to hold their 50 or $100 ransom. So to me, it's not a big deal. But the whole point of a deposit is to like reserve a spot. So if they don't show up, like it's a different story. That was part of the point of the deposit. Why do you hand cut? I just like it. I know the exact pattern that I'm getting. With a plotted cut, there's always some type of question. So like look at this as a like tailor fit pattern where a plotter can be generic. So some plotted patterns, they just don't line up as nicely. Some of them line up extremely nice. It's a time versus like exactness. So if I'm doing everything all myself, there we go. If I'm doing everything myself, I'm not saving a lot of time with the plotter. On certain things, I save a lot of time. But I'm not going to save a lot of time just like moseying through one car by going to a plotter. It's just like purely for convenience for me. On a back window, I'll save some time. On the doors, obviously I can cut 4 doors out a little bit faster on a machine. But you still have to go through weeding and stuff. But it's like, it's similar enough of a difference. And people that are getting their cars done here are generally just paying a little bit more. So that's the point. We want to go a little bit more polished on everything. Should I load up on carbon or ceramic or focus on one? Oh, you need a little bit of an inventory and a few different options. So here are your options to obviously make a little bit more money and also have a little bit of variety in what we carry, because not every customer is going to be the same. Some people are just purely for aesthetics. That's what we all know tint for being. And heat is a really nice bonus. So some people just want to do that. Some people want both, privacy and heat reduction. So you figure out what the customer is looking for and you can make some recommendations. Yeah, 36 was enough to double cut. It's enough to double cut on the vast majority. I don't think I've ever run into a sedan. Maybe a Honda Fit. Honda Fit has really tall windows for being such a little car. It's got a lot of windows, too, for being such a little car. But the vast majority of sedans, you can double cut at 36 and it'll fit. You're still using gel? Yeah. Yeah, gel's become a permanent thing. It's super helpful. I've been pretty adamant about covering door panels, taping seals, just doing things to help keep the edges cleaner. Gel is an easy way to do that. I don't spray the entire window with it. I just use it on the edges, and it's been super helpful. Would you clay bar a window if it's really old and dirty? On doors, I generally razor blade or scrub pad. Clay bar's fine. But like glass is a really hard surface. Clay bars are used on paint a lot because we can't scrape them. So clay bar / scrub pad, I put it in like a similar category. I'd go for a scrub pad over a clay bar. But on a back window, we can't scrape. So yeah, for sure. Clay bars are really nice for that. I think they're most effective on defroster lines though. They're mushy, so they get in between the lines. They pull the like tarnish off the lines or oxidation. Are you still using OptiGlide or experimenting with other brands? I have a couple other ones. But I've mainly only been using OptiGlide. I don't have a reason to really use anything else right now. Oh, that one's still charging, that's why. Razor blade, towel, door cover, and a stool would be nice. It's from one of the classes. Can you tell where the heat gun, student set a heat gun on the seat? When I top load, I get a lot of dirt between. How can I avoid it? I mean, we're gonna go through this right now. All the steps of tinting a door window. 2-stage. Use a file to get a clean top edge. No, you can do it all with the blade. There's still going to be a little gap, though. Just got my buddy's car in Pro Classic. He didn't want to go for the ceramic. How color stable is that film? I told him not to be coming back with fading complaints. Oh, it's a rock solid film. I installed it for quite a few years. It's a big reason why I went with Geo in the first place. It's a deep dyed, color stable film made by Guari. It's the most reputable color stable dyed film around, and that's where the term color stable kind of comes from too. like if it's got a color stable lifetime warranty, that means it guarantees that the color's not going to fade or change either. There's some lifetime warranties on films that do not cover color change. But the price on it got really close to C2 carbon, so it's harder to justify now. Good film, though. Okay, so I wiped off the top edge. I razor bladed the window. I did one squeegee pass so far. I'm just going to do a second one. So we clean side to side. And, oh no, I need this guy. I'm gonna swipe down that edge and this one too. I'm gonna grab a, fuck. Just kidding. This should never happen. I should never have one bottle on each side. Okay. Spray gel on the edges. Coat the rest of it. Then we're gonna peel it. We're gonna use a true spray system. I have a Tint keg. It's like the OG of the keg space. I'd rather use an air compressor. 'Cause it's just set up for that. I don't want to have to recharge a pump on it. So we're gonna tuck this side in and go to the other side. I'm just gonna curl up the film part, push it towards the glass, and then go back in the opposite direction. Right like that. Then we're just gonna line it up. Gonna go back over it with a soft pass. But if your install wasn't very smooth, if it got crunched up somewhere, it's gonna reintroduce dirt. There's no way around that. Even if you clean it 100 times over, most of installing issues like dirt, creases, and bunching, it's like that's all your installation. So you can like half-ass clean a window and still do a really good job. It's more about how you install. Taping side seals, keeping like a cleaning squeegee. All that's just like extra stuff, like one less thing to take off the checklist of what might have caused an issue. Yeah, why don't you use a true spray system? Reason I'm asking, I'm opening up my own tint business. I'm still trying to choose what would be better. Between like a tint keg and a true spray? I mean, they're going to be very similar. Unless you're talking about the backpack, which is just a completely different way of handling your water. If you're doing cars, backpacks can be nice. You just have to refill them more often, and you have to carry around that weight all day. They got their place. But if you're in like a stuffy garage, I couldn't do it. Like, the biggest difference between a keg and a trigger sprayer, just a regular spray bottle, is I have a hose where I can get around the car, and I don't have to lug my water around, but I do have to manage a hose. And when I do this, I can just hold it down, and I have infinite spray. I'm not constantly... So I have all the water I need when I need it. Backpacks are similar to that, except you're just going to run out of water faster, and you got to carry that water around on your back. Now, you have like a True Spray, the pump-powered kegs. And having a battery and pump is really nice. It's just something else that you can potentially go wrong, and you have to recharge it. So I like just less moving parts on it. I've worked at shops for years that have air compressors, so like for me, it was always just like fill up your keg on the shop's air compressor. But when I was mobile, I would carry around a little tire compressor. And so I had that sitting in my truck. I'd fill up my keg, and then I'd just bring that in, use the car's power, and just like pressurize my keg. So there's a little trade-off there. What rolls do you get for your shop? Do you do 24 and 36? Yes. I like 24s and 36. 40s are nice. If you're cutting off of a plotter, you can get a little bit more in that. But just with the sheer variety of stuff I get, 24-inch rolls are primarily for truck windows, SUVs. They're taller. I can't split a 36 in half, so I'm generally going to use a 24-inch tall roll. That's going to be my short. And then a 36-inch roll is going to cover the vast majority of windshields and back windows. There's very few that it's not going to cover. So I just don't see the sense in keeping 40s around and using that extra film. Like, you're typically saving an extra, like $50 or so by buying a 36 versus a 40. Personal preference, though, not going to make a massive difference one way or the other. But 20s are nice. They're just, you get a 40, you can split it in half. So I see a lot of people, like, what I didn't realize is 40-inch rolls outsell 36-inch rolls 4-1. 20. I've been using 36 forever. Whenever somebody asks, I'm 36-24. People buy 40s. I don't know if that's so they don't buy short rolls, but they just outsell them like 4-1. Recently did a rear window on a 96 Camaro. I hope I never see it again. I know the feeling. It's like the car I did yesterday. I just hope I never see it again. I'll take Accords all day long. More Accords, please. So we're gonna split this in half. I'm just gonna take this, flip it around, and we're gonna double cut these. Tack them together. Start by cutting off the bottom. This is more just a film handling thing. You could use the factory edges on it and line it up, but it's just additional film juggling. So I can just do this. C6 Vet windshield. I heard they aren't bad at all. I wouldn't say they aren't bad at all. There's just like, it's not like doing the back window, but there's a lot of dashboard and they come out pretty far. So I would just say it's not as fun, but it depends on where your skill level's at. About the fusion heat gun, I hate it. I agree. I'm not a fan. Some people really like it though. It's got a ton of airflow. It gets hot, but it just like, I don't know. I don't understand what people like about it. The people that really do. I've talked to them, but I still like, it's just not for me. Okay, so this edge here gets cut like that. So our side edge goes up and then over, which then is no longer a side edge because this falls out of it. So your side edge is really this part, just this little part right here. And then your top edge is this and this. And you don't have to make those cuts all in one. You can cut one edge and then come over the other way, and then you can meet up right there. Cut very tight to the edges on the C6 windshield. Maybe. Probably. That I don't know for sure until I'd see it in person. You might not have to worry about the side edges so much. But might have a heads-up display. It's just like a sporty two-door style car, and the windshields are just long. So we just follow that edge, that side edge all the way up, and we just make overlapping lines like this one. See? This comes like that. That gets sliced off. We can round this little bit on the corner, blend that. Round that. We're gonna round this. Oh, it does do that funky thing. Okay. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. I tried to I straightened it, but it needed, it actually curves out more than I thought it did. I was like, that can't be right. But it was. That's just how it was. Thought you put the tint on the inside. Well, wouldn't we need a shape? Should we get a shape first before we put it on the inside, or should we just go for it? Voila! It's pretty. That looks good. I didn't realize how tedious tinting is. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of little annoying steps. You got to get a shape. It's just trying to get... Tediousness is trying to get it as exact as possible. As clean as possible and exact as possible. Where are you from? I'm from Michigan. Just got back from Atlanta. Window tinting there must be big business. Yeah, it's big business everywhere. And it can always be bigger. All right. This. So we gotta cover door panel first. Are you shrinking with the heat gun? Yes. Wow, that's a positive change. They're actually changing the window tint laws in Iowa from 70% to 50. That's nice. That means you can put 70 on it. But it might become more, might kick up more business, might be more acceptable. People get pulled over less. Like, it still is one of the funniest things to me. Michigan state law never changed, but there were headlines about it changing. Like, Michigan window tint law up for review, Michigan window tint to be legal. And it was just like, oh, no wonder. Look at this fucking edge, man. Here I am trying to... See, this is also what's tough about the plotter is because, like, dude, what is this? You see this bump here? This was just ground pretty rough. That's... Yikes. So a plotter is, like, if they're all like that, then it'll fit. But if this is the only one that's like that, then a plotted pattern's not going to fit right. We're going to squeegee this down. Oh my God, that's ringing for a long time. Spray that. Coat the rest. It does. It does have a hump to it. So when I was trimming it on the board, I was like, that can't be right. No, it is right. What plotter do you recommend to buy? It depends on your budget. Honestly, Marketplace is a really good place to find budget plotters. Good ones. Sign shops sell used ones that are still in great condition. Some people don't use them as much as they think that they would. Like, people over prepare for business and then they get it and then it's just like, oh, I'm gonna sell it. So the Jag GCC, I think, is probably the best if you're getting something new. Like, it's the best middle ground because you'll see the Graphtec FC9000, which is a great machine, but it's an industrial cutting machine. Like, I have one. It's beautiful. A cheap plotter will do the same type of thing. There's some reasons why I would go for a Jag, though, over the cheap machines, but still, you can cut good patterns on cheap machines. They're just more fiddly with roller positions and no presets and stuff like that. Roller positions are the biggest thing. If they had better roller positions, it'd be a tougher argument. See? So look at that. We didn't file. That turned out really, really nice. Looks good. I'll take it. That's where, like, filing edges is a fantastic skill, but it can become a pissing match between tinters. Biggest thing is, what are your customers really interested in? And if you can shave an edge and that helps you book more jobs, then leverage that. Hell yeah. If you tell people and they're like, okay, then that's not really doing anything for you. What do you think about the big squeegees that have big bristles on them? Yeah, the tint brush. They're cool. It's just a brush. So I've been using this, which is a softer squeegee, as a light bubble pusher, a film spreaderer. And then we have a wider, flatter paddle style squeegee that we use in the same way. There's some things that come out that I really, really like, and some things that I'm like, okay. And this is one of those things where I'm like, okay. But I like the idea of it. The biggest drawback for me was the width. I can get this one farther down. So, and the price. They're selling, like, come on. They're selling this for $40. This isn't $40. So when you're installing a windshield or a back window, I see this with so many new people. And I say it over and over again. We're trying to spread out the film evenly on the window. And for anybody that's been tinting with some experience, it's really easy to understand. This is a pressure-sensitive adhesive, so it wants to stick when it's pushed down to the glass. So it doesn't make sense to squeegee here and then try and push water and air through where you just squeegeed, right? So I'm locking this area down, and then let's push some more water. Like they'll squeegee here, they'll squeegee here, they're just all over the place. So what the brush basically does is it's a little bit more foolproof. It's wider, and it helps people spread the film out without putting much pressure on the film and trapping air. And then you can squeegee over it without disturbing the film too much. The idea is fantastic. When should you use tape or not? This is a very clean car. We don't have to use tape. Tape is just to help prevent dirt from running back into your seals. So we have a rubber seal that is fairly clean. It's like best conditions for a window tinter. If we have felt seals or older dirty seals, we're especially going to want to use tape. So in this situation, do we need it? No. But is it hurting to have it there? If it takes you too much time, it gets in your way, then I would say, yeah, it's hurting you. But if it's like, yeah, I'll just tape it off really quick, which is what I tend to do, it's not hurting me to do it. All right. So we're gonna snap shrink both of these. Accords are more curved than I would typically think. Front doors, a little bit, back doors, more. So if they have to be shrunk a little bit more, I'll heat up the bottom and get that to curl in, but you'll see my heat gun kind of go in the more curved area a little bit. So I can pull down, I'll go just a little bit more right here. So same thing. This area right here tends to have more curve than this over here. And I kind of just pushed everything down though. So we got some normal fingers here in the bottom. But because we have a little bit more to shrink, I'm going to start up a little bit higher. And hit that a little bit. And then when I pull it, see that all flattens out. It's lovely. That's where we want it. Does the brush tack it enough to squeegee? Sometimes, yes and no. It just, that depends more on your mix than anything. Generally, yes. But some films, they just don't have a lot of bite to them, and people have a little bit extra soap in their bottle. So if you have things dialed in, yeah, absolutely. An actual squeegee blade, like the orange one that I'm using, is going to put just a little bit more pressure. These are all just little things, though. It's like, if you're interested in getting it, pick one up, try it out, see how you like it. I have plenty of tools that I've bought that I just don't use. And some that I never thought I would really use that have become some of my favorites. Tinting tools overall are very inexpensive. So it's always worth trying some different things. Everybody has something different that they're gonna do that they prefer. So there is no like uniform, even two-stage or bottom loading, like everybody's gonna do something a little bit different. Like, oh, I didn't know you squeeze, like my brother, there's still things that I see Like we both two-stage, and we both will bottom load occasionally. He does a little bit more than I do. And then when I see him tint, I'll see him do something. I'm like, when did you start doing that? And he's like, I've always done it this way. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. I'm going to double check this top edge. Somebody's working a late shift on grinding these windows. And so we double cut, which means we took patterns over from that side and we put them over here, and they should fit. But just because it's on the same card doesn't mean that these are identical. These are some of the most aftermarket factory windows I've ever seen. When I'm shrinking and using the cut guide tape, here, I'm going to trim this just a little bit. It's hard to tell. It seems like it's going to match up pretty well. But I'm just going to shave it off a little bit. When I'm shrinking on a windshield and I use the cut guide tape, I notice the film on the corners won't stick to the glass. We have a back window, we'll go over it. You might be shrinking over the tape on the sides. It's a very smooth edge, but it's just a little bit wavy. So now we know that it's for sure gonna line up. And you can do that with a plotted pattern too. Just that's where I tune out on plotted patterns. I don't see the point in cutting out plotted patterns and then having to cut my top edge on it. Plots should just fit. That's the whole point. I still gotta load the plotter, find the patterns, cut them, and then take them over to a board and weed them. And yeah, I can make excuses for trimming off a top edge with plots, but at that point, if I'm doing all that for the doors, I might as well just have hand cut the rest, because I'm not saving any time. Unless I just like have a lot of cars and I put somebody else in charge of the plotter, then I've saved time. So if you're the one with a plotter that is doing absolutely everything, you're not saving much time. If you're proficient at hand cutting, you're just not saving much time with a plotter on door windows. Just personally. But if you have somebody that is cutting them out for you, you're saving a lot of time. And then it's not a big deal to just, okay, they got me my patterns, I just got to fix this a little bit. Trade-offs. I don't remember if I did this part, so I'm going to do it again. Wipe that off. I'm going to grab my bottle of gel, and then we're going to squeegee. Overlapping top to bottom, because gravity makes all the water run down. Then we're going to take a card of some type and sweep down the edges. And then we can hit it with gel. Coat. You do the top edge too. So we're gonna lift our pattern. We're gonna start with the long edge here first. Get this up on the window as close to where it's going. Get some extra film on the glass. And then I'm gonna take the film part, roll that, flatten it out, and then it goes into the seal. Very loose seals on this one. We come over to this side and it's overlapping. So we're gonna roll this, pull it back, and then push it back into the seal. Just like that. Now we can shimmy this back and forth until we get super close. Lightly squeegee out some water. This is more about getting some of the water and air out, flattening out the edge so I can then scooch it and just kind of dial it in. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. Harder squeegee. I'm not pushing super hard with that. I'm still like, depending on how this is sliding. Still sliding around a bit. Honda and Toyota windows, I think, are pretty good at sliding. Like, they're just, I don't know what it is. Like, you would think a tempered window is just like any other tempered window, but there's definitely some difference there that causes film to stick extra to certain windows. It's not just, not a coating in particular. Perfect. Ooh, that's nice. It's very nice. As close as we can without going over. So, it's very nice. This camera likes to really exaggerate the colors. Okay, how do I clip this back in? Oh, okay, what happened? There we go. Now we stuck, right? You can roll it up. Tucking patterns. We're gonna grab this, pull back our seal. Now you notice, if this is butting up against the side, it's not gonna go in, it's gonna roll. So we have to make sure that every part of it is behind the seal, and then see how that doesn't bunch up anymore? Wow. Whoopee. Same thing here. Make sure that it's gonna feed into the side seal, like that. And we have this excess film here at the bottom, so we're just gonna lift it, start back over on one of the corners, and then I'm gonna pull back, and I'm looking for points like this. Pull back, knock those down. Anywhere that does that. Ooh. Oh no. How'd that flip? Oh, there's something there. Light squeegee again. Push some bubbles. Squeegee that down. Harder squeegee. Now, on the end of that harder squeegee, you can just see there's just more water there. There's always going to be a little bit of water between the film and the glass. But when you push harder with a squeegee, you're pushing out so much water that you're just left with an incredibly thin layer of water. And that dries really fast. To use a steamer to remove window tint, I want to use a Jiffy. Yeah, I have a Jiffy. There isn't any steamer that I particularly really like. They're all okay. I have a pressure steamer. I have a Jiffy. I've used cheap ones. To me, they're all so similar. The pressure ones are fine. They put a lot of steam on the window. I think they look a little bit more dramatic than they are, but lovely. Looks good. Looks good. Whew. I saw a little mark on the window. That's on the outside. This little guy right here. I was like, oh no. Oh good, it wiped off. I use a $20 steamer, gets the job done. Yeah, I just it's like heat guns. I just don't feel like there's anything about most steamers that make them amazing. So a cheap pressure steamer, a regular cheap cloth steamer, I think they're all fine. They've done a really good job. Okay, so this window is next. I think if anything, if they start up faster, so like I have the Jiffy that looks like a rock. I'm checking this top edge. Yeah, this isn't perfect either. A Cleveland steamer. Yeah. See what you did there. So this is matched up, and then it dips right here in the middle because this is not ground the same way that the other side is. This actually looks a little bit more consistent. It's still got kind of flat bumps here, but this curve is a little bit different than the other side. So it's, again, I often criticize the plotter too, because I would just take a pattern and go like, ugh. But the car needs to be taken into account too, and it's hard to do that if you only have one pattern. So I'm going to retrim this edge too. It's not something I typically do, but I just saw such a weirdness on the other side, so it just makes sense. Stuck out a lot. There we go. Now it's perfect. You helped me learn how to tint. It's been about almost 2 years. Finally just got my own big garage to run a business. Oh, hell yeah. That's super exciting. Nice job. Getting a shop is fun. Scary and fun at the same time. It's like having the space to pull in a car and go like, whoa, I can do anything. Oh, okay. Thank you. I will restart it. Your hands are steady. You know what? They are. No, they're not. They're actually not. I was gonna say yes, they are. They definitely. No. Most of the, like, you learn to compensate for it. So like, when I'm cutting this top edge, your blade is rested at the top edge of this window, and I'm using the holder too. And this is an incredibly thin blade, so it just makes cutting this that much easier. This is the part that I always have a tricky time with, like going around this corner and then coming down. It often skips. So I was pretty proud of that part. All right, let's tape it off. For the front and back side windows, do you shrink the tint? Yes. I shrink everything. That's very debatable. You don't have to on certain windows, but then it's like, well, how do I know if I have to or not? And then it gets into this whole annoying discussion where like some people just they bottom load instead, or their soap mix is dialed in, or they have good strong adhesive on their film. Oh, that's why. Is it working? Yep. All right. Should be good. Got a 1,400 square foot garage. More than what I needed, but it'll fill it up. Yes, you will. Enjoy extra space. You will absolutely use it way more than you think. I learned that from this space. Like, cause look at this. Like, where's everything else? If it's just me, one car, doing this, we don't need the extra space. And then we teach a class. And then it's like, oh shit, we don't have enough space. We had to build a loft because we had inventory back there. So all that stuff that's up there used to be back there too, like behind me. I'm gonna lift this, roll it down. Like that. Overlapping squeegee strokes, top to bottom. And we're gonna squeegee this side. Squeegee that side. That is clean. Grab some gel. Spray the sides. Peel. We're going to start with the long side. Get this up on the window, close to where it's getting installed. pick up the film, roll that in, and that slides right into our side. Put this up on the glass, roll this up. We're gonna pull it back a little bit so it flattens out against the glass, and push it into the side. Now we can line this up. Orange squeegee. Lightly push out some water. And we still line it up. It's looking pretty good. You can push a little harder with another squeegee blade up at the top. Really get that adhesive to stick to the window. Push that. And we're gonna roll it up. Does the gel dry fast? Yeah, it's mostly water. And a lot of it gets squeegeed out, so you just have like a very thin smear. If anything, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen really like any noticeable difference from using gels to not using gels as far as dry time on the sides at all. We're gonna tuck this in. That's really tight right here. Don't know why. It just is. So this is what I mean from like start in the middle and work your way out. Because you're trying to spread all this here. You see some of these waves curve like this, and some of them curve like that. So what we're really doing is we don't want to just take our edge and just like, because that's going to push in this direction a little bit. And then we either go exactly flat down, but the film doesn't want to do that. The film wants to go like this. That's how we shrunk it. So I would never just like start over here and then like somewhere in the middle and then backtrack. If you're gonna do this, make sure you go all the way across. Never lock something in the middle, because this is like anywhere we squeegee, imagine that this area is now stuck. So if I stick this and then I try and squeegee something over it, it's not gonna wanna really push out. That's where you get trails and smears and stuff. It's like mopping a room. You don't just do it randomly. You start and like work your way out. Ta-da! There's got to be a problem here, isn't there? Oh, yes, there is. Sorry, guys. I don't know why we're having chat problems over here. I'll try it again. I have one super small air bubble in my tent. That's the worst. That's typically what's gonna happen. You'll always be able to find something. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so when you walk up to your car, you're just like, fuck, there's that spot. But if you only have one spot on your windows, you got a great job. So we got a back window to do. And some quarters. Hand cutting this isn't going to be much different. Oh, you can even see the heat marks in the window. But hand cutting this isn't going to be much different than plotter cutting this. We'll just hand cut it. Has Geo ever bubbled on you? No, it hasn't. If it did, I'd be very leery of ever using it again. We can always have like a bad window. But if I had something 4 or 5 years come back and it discolored, it's just like, oh man, that's likely not just that one window that bubbled or changed color, right? It's that whole run of film. Could be just that line, could be just that shade, but I don't know. Started with Amazon Tint and starter kit. From then till now. That's cool. Would you recommend working at a tint shop before starting your own shop? Well, in the beginning, you need to develop as much experience as you can, and however you can do that. Yeah, if you can get a shop to pay you for training, like, who wouldn't want to do that? But not everybody can find a shop that's willing to teach them. Window tint shops are largely independently owned. There's generally not a large chain of them. And a lot of them, the owners are also tinters. So I'd look for something that's maybe a little bit bigger that has more employees that are just like, man, we just need help. And they got a good thing going. They're not too worried about teaching somebody that wants to start their own business. That happens a lot, though. A lot of local competitors generally stem from a place that trained them. Is carbon tint worth the extra cost? Carbon's our entry. But that's up to you. The main difference between a dyed film and carbon is a little extra heat rejection and generally more color stability. So there's two major ways of making film, or of coloring film. You either color it with carbon or you color it with dyes. So a 5% carbon has more carbon. A 5% dyes has more / darker dyes in it. But carbon has the side benefit of blocking additional heat. So the more carbon you add to a carbon film, the more heat that it blocks. Then you have ceramic films, which both are colored with dyes or carbon. Ceramic's not dark. So the film we're using right now is a ceramic film, but it's colored with carbon. I need to order some stuff right now. Do it. Do it now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now. Do it now. I forgot what movie that one's from. How do you not cut the seal? Gio needs to make a 30. I just made that video. Yes, they do. How do you not cut the seals? You can use a Sharpie, mark your patterns, but when you're cutting, you're only using the very end of that blade and blade holder together. So just one little click out, and you're always angling your knife away from the seal, not in. So if you drag it inwards, that tip of the edge is going to shear that seal. So I'll poke here, angle outwards, and then just keep sideways pressure so I'm not digging into the seal. But always use just the end of that blade. I always go ceramic. Ceramic's really good. Bubbles in the back window. Bubbles in the back window after a day is generally poor quality work. There's a chance that it's just still drying. So tint will take a couple days to dry, especially depending on the weather. So it just might be, like if they're translucent and hard to see, it's gonna dry out, it'll be fine. If they're white specks, then that's not gonna disappear. Like bright white spots are often just dirt specks. Tint worms? Is this like a medical condition? Or is it like a hair, dust, that kind of stuff? That's typically like an immediate redo. If there's like a little piece of dust that landed in my film, I'm redoing it. Tapeworms. I gotta wait for this to dry, don't I? See, that's the only thing that I like about the plotter for that is I'll cut the quicker to cut the back window, and I'll cut the quarter windows at the same time. Does that mean we got 10 minutes? What if a customer wants a Diet Coke? If you can't figure that one out, I can't help you. You got some more problems than that. How do I get the white tape to stay flat on the glass? I don't understand why it wouldn't stay flat on the glass. Is it like pulling back? Tint worms will crawl out in the sun. You guys are great. Oh, on the corners, okay. So when I clean the back window, I squeegeed the window off. If you just wipe it off with a towel, there's smears. And it'll stick for a little bit, and then it'll generally let loose when it gets wet. So squeegee it off, like scrub it, squeegee it off. It's also a good way to make sure that there's no little dirt specks left behind that can rip through the film when you're shrinking. Most tape is meant to go straight and folds. Yeah, this is stretchy, so this will go around corners pretty well. 90 degrees are a little tough, but you can see how it curved around pretty fine. It's all prepped, it's not letting go. So squeegee it off entirely, and just make sure it's dry when you're applying it around. But some people have a tendency to stretch as well. So with the tape, like if you just take it and you pull it because it's stretchy, that's what'll let it go around a corner. But if you stretch it too much and then do it, there's just going to be a lot of tension in here. So you can like pull out a section and then just let it relax back. But yeah, this will go around corners and stuff like that just fine. And you can spray it, wet it down. But make sure that the window is squeegeed off. But I'll use this and cut on the tape so I'm keeping the blade off of the glass. Okay, 20 ceramic going on the rear. I was asked earlier about shrinking over the tape as well. So the tape is an obstacle. It helps with seeing the edge, which is nice, but you can use a light for that too. So we're going to tack this down. But the main reason I use it is so I can just continue to cut and not have to put anything else, like I don't have to lift the film. It's easy to see, and it keeps the glass safe. So I'm going to pull this tight, tack this down, and then we'll just cut off the excess here. So anything that's overlapping, the moldings, the panels, that kind of stuff. On the sides, some will curve quite a lot. You just need past your line. So I'm going to cut this just like 1/2 inch to 1 inch wider. Top and bottom, you want free of any obstacles, but they can be longer. And then same thing on the side here. Let's cut this, and we're just gonna trim this a little bit wider than the sides. So we can make sure that this is all set up right. I tacked the other side, but we can loosen up the film. We're just looking for the midpoint. I'm just gonna pull it tight, hold it, take a card, and then tack it down. That's what the dryer sheet's for. See how it's holding really nicely? But if I lift it, now it's loose. So I can take a card, swipe it on the edges. We have side fingers. You just direct those up, and I will just flatten it completely down on the tape. If you shrink over the tape on the sides, you get these little wrinkles. So I just lock that down, lock this down, direct everything up and down. So now it's ready to shrink. Grab a heat gun. Temperature doesn't matter. We just want to put the heat gun on high, let it get hot, and we're going to adjust our heat with both speed and distance. So I can get my hand really close if I move it fast. This is just nice and toasty. If I keep it farther away, I just feel a light warm breeze. But if I hold it, now my hand's starting to get hotter. Same thing with cooking. You set your temperature, but you move your food around. You flip it, it'll cook. It's not just gonna stay at a certain temperature. It's always gonna get hotter, then it's gonna start cooling back down. So the way to figure out what temperature you need is just by watching the film. So keep the heat gun pointed 45-degree angle in the direction that you're shrinking, and then just work inwards until you start seeing that film shrink. And then hold it at that distance. And then you watch it shrink down until you just start to see these little waves form. So they look like little ocean waves. So little ocean waves. This is our shoreline. All the way around the window is our shoreline. So what we want to do is now guide those waves towards the shore. And you just match up your card with the direction that that wave is headed. So these are all, you just parallel with that. If it looks parallel, then you just push it forward. Right? Right like that. Ta-da! Heat gun, move it in. Oh, now I see the film shrinking. Keep it there. Just do a line across. Bring it down a little bit. Come back. Ta-da! We see those waves. Ta-da! Now we never want to push past where we shrunk. So if I only see these waves up to here, I'm not going to card all the way down to the edge. We just see these waves. Look, this one's going a little bit not straight. It's going like this. Hey, how you doing? How can I help you? Oh, okay. Need some pricing? Is that something you needed today or wanting to schedule? Okay, we wouldn't be able to get you in today. We could schedule you on Thursday. Do what? All right. So heat gun, we're towards the edge now, going a little bit farther. Wait till it starts shrinking. Oh no. Oh, I forgot the battery. Oh, that's bad. Hang on, guys. I'll get this back. Don't you worry now. I forgot. It gave me the warning. And I ignored the warning because I was going to do it in a minute. Dun, dun. Mimo. Who calls an app Mimo? I keep forgetting, so I try and search Osmo, and it's Mimo. Yeah, Mimo. All right, it's connecting. It's a good thing you kept the mic, though, huh? Okay, live stream. It remembers. It's preparing. It's preparing. It's connected. Da-da-da-da-da. And then when we start streaming, and we cross our fingers that it connects, and hey! Whew! I was nervous. I wasn't sure if it was going to reconnect. All right, cool. So we have these waves here. These don't need to be shrunk anymore, but you'll notice they're a little bit diagonal here. So I'm just going to match up the card with what they're doing and push them like this. And look, that looks great. Anything along the bottom edge over the tape is going to be raised, so you don't have to worry about it being perfectly flat. We're going to trim it and then touch up the top and bottom edges anyways. So let's go to the top. And people struggle the most with top corners. The bottom kind of fans out a little bit. Top generally tapers, especially on the windshield. It tapers inwards. And all your curve, the majority of your curve is going to be here and here. So the middle is a lot flatter than it is right here. Just keep that in mind. But same thing. Heat gun, 45-degree angle, bring it in. It's shrinking already. I'm gonna leave it there. Go across. Look, there's not anything in the middle. It's pretty flat. We come back. More needs to be shrunk right there. Perfect. I see those waves. This is where those waves break. And then with the top corners, this happens. So when we push this down, there's still a little film that wants to scooch out this way. So as I start to see it swoop, I'm gonna lift this back up and then tack that back down. That flattens out this top corner a little bit, but we're trying to get the film to basically scoot out this way. Like it's gonna wanna stretch out this way and flat out the top. Heat gun 45, bring it in. I was already starting with it close. You want to take as much of the guesswork out of it until you know what you're looking for. So like, what temperature do I need? I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly. I just know what the film is doing. It needs to be hot. But the film is never going to stay at the exact same temperature. It's always going to get hotter. It's going to cool down. So you're going to need a certain heat point temperature to start shrinking, and then you want to maintain around that temperature until you see the film do what it needs to do. What's better ceramic film from Geo? Apex Ultra, Pro Nano, C2 ceramic. Apex is going to be the best. This is C2 ceramic. Apex is made with, it's a little bit more than this, but it's basically like taking two C2 ceramics and combining them together. It's 2 layers of a premium ceramic. C2 is 1 layer. Same thing for Pro Nano. Pro Nano is a single layer ceramic film, but it's a dyed film. So you got those nice waves. And then we continue. Have you ever had a really frustrating car that you gave up on? Yeah, definitely. Years ago, it was a C6 Corvette. I don't know if it was film that day, that window. I had done some before that, but it just needs 6 pieces of film, and I'm like, I'm done. Another one was it was like front 2 doors on a Porsche Macan, and it just came in as a walk-in appointment. I didn't think it'd be a big deal, and I had other stuff to do that day. And dude, I spent like 2 hours on those front doors, and I'm like, I'm just not doing this. I just gave the car back. It's just like what we're charging you, the amount of like frustration this just isn't worth it. I'm sorry. That was when I was at a different shop. There we go. So this is all shrunk. And I'm going to show you what we typically do with a card, but what we can also do by pulling it. So a card's going to just bump this forward little by little and tack it down to the window. But essentially what that's doing with the top corner is that it's stretching it flat over the window. We just do it little by little because this helps organize and show us exactly what we need to shrink next. But let's say you do a bigger area. This is exactly what's happening. So I were to pull from the top here, and then look, I need to pull out here. And then everything goes flat. So what's happening with a card is we just match it up with the way those waves are going. And top corners, there's always a little bit more curve here. So you're gonna see this wants to actually go out the side. We don't shrink the sides, but we can stretch it flat and just go with the way the waves are going. Right, like that. So now we need to trim it. I'm gonna grab a light. What install gel do you recommend? I like OptiGlide. It works really well. So I'm just brightening up the cut tape. I'm just gonna cut in the middle. If I didn't have much space, I would cut closer to the edge, or I might not use the cut tape at all if I'm trying to get like a perfect exact edge. Like the Audi that we had yesterday. Can you explain why some shops tint over old tint? It'd just be a cost saving. Some shops won't do it. Nobody will have any type of warranty attached to it. But if your car's tinted and it looks good, you could layer over it, but I just can't guarantee that something's not going to peel or that the top layer of film's not going to fail. But I had somebody bring a car. It was an older car. The film was fine, and they're just like, yeah, I just want to make it darker. So I just tinted over it. But we had a little discussion first. Tinting over factory tint is just glass. There's nothing unusual about it. It's the same type of glass. They just dye it. I seriously don't like the idea of, yeah, that's fine. It's customer. To me, that's up to the customer. Obviously, the shop too. Some shops don't tint cracked windshields. Like, that's fair. But personally, and this is like, my shop is not the same as your shop, I will have a discussion with the customer. I notice your windshield is cracked, and they're like, yeah, it's been like that. I don't care, just go over it. Sure. If you don't care and you want to throw money at me, why not? But some shops might go like, that's my name on the car. I don't want somebody to think that I cracked their windshield, so I'm just not going to do it. That's fair too. Okay, now that we trimmed it, we removed an area that was attached to where we shrunk, and it was overlapping the tape. So it's not unusual to see some little loose spots. I would do this with or without the tape. Take a heat gun and get it real close, and you're just trying to get those to pop up and flatten out. Those are potential spots that will pop up on the inside, and they're much harder to touch up when they're on the inside. Do you do headlights or taillights? No. It's a skill issue for me. It's way more vinyl wrap. Window tint's a completely different material. And then the taillights themselves can be just really exaggerated. These would be very simple to do. Some of them are just like weirdly sharp corners and pain in the butt. But I just, personally, I never got asked much about it. So for the $250 that we would charge to do a set of lights, it just like, for the handful of people, I just never really cared to learn. Ceramic is the best. That's right. But just the best performance. You don't need ceramic to get a good tint job. This reflects a lot. Here's my order. Nice. Do you have a number that starts with a 3? Then I know for sure. Like that's the like Shopify confirmation thing, and then there's like an actual order number that starts with a 3. Is there a noticeable difference between C2 carbon and C2 ceramic? Yes. I can show you really quick. Let's take a quick trip up front. I'm sure you got some stories. Okay, so these are the 3 films that we sell, and we're going to make it very easy. This is a carbon film. This is C2 carbon. This is C2 ceramic. And then this is Apex. They all have lifetime warranties. They're all going to look very similar. Biggest difference between them is how much heat that they block. That's essentially it. None of them are going to be more clear. Like, so it's not like I spend more money and I get a boost in clarity and water beads off the window or something. It's just added film performance, and that is pretty much just heat, because they're all really good films. So the carbon film is made with plastic, polyester, and carbon, basically. So the carbon is what makes it go really dark. The more carbon that you add, the darker the film gets. Down in the 5 and 2% range, you add so much more carbon to it that it performs similar to a ceramic. Now, ceramics, they will get coloring from carbon or from dye. So this is basically this film with a layer of ceramic in it. So the coloring is going to look very, very similar. Really nice neutral color tone. But the nice thing about it is that it'll block heat in the lighter shades along with the darker shades. And it'll block a little bit more in the darker shades as well. Apex is going to be our top of the line film. It's got 2 layers of ceramic. So it's essentially like taking this, and add a layer of ceramic to it, and then you have Apex. It's got, well, it's really C2 carbon or C2 ceramic with an extra layer of ceramic. The point of stacking them is we have a carbon base film with a layer of ceramic, and then we add another layer of ceramic to it. So this is a 2 mil film, a little bit thicker, blocks even more heat. If I turn this box on, let's turn on the meter, turn this on. So I don't know, the meter right now is at 500. That just means there's a lot of heat coming out of this. I can feel it. If I block it, you can see that drops down to near 0. If I put the C2 carbon in front of it, that knocked it down by 100. So I can still feel quite a lot of heat coming through. It didn't shave it down that much. If I put the C2 ceramic in front of it, now we went all the way down to 100. I can hardly feel any heat coming through that bulb right now. Now if we do the Apex film, it's down to 50. See, 2 layers, 1 layer 100, 2 layers 50. It blocks that much more heat out of it. So this used to be the top of the line film. Apex is now the top of the line film, but the difference between these 2 films isn't going to be as great as the difference between the C2 carbon and C2 ceramic. When you're going from a carbon film to a ceramic, especially in like a 20%, 15, 20 and up, you're going to feel a dramatic difference by going to ceramic. If you're sticking in the 5 to 2% range, You're not going to feel as much of a difference. You'll feel a little bit, but they'll all be really nice films. So let's go and finish up this car. This one was C2 ceramic on all the sides and the rear. So what I'd consider is our best value option. Where do you get the displays? I got those from GeoShield. Really nice displays. And so sometimes we'll take they're magnetic. We'll take them out with the customer when we're looking at their car, just trying to figure out, show them the options and let them make a decision. What do you charge for a sedan in C2 ceramic versus Apex? I charge, without a windshield, $350 in ceramic and $450 in Apex. So we got to clean off this back window. All right, we're going to try something. I don't know how this is going to go, but I have to jump in and out of this car a few times. Can you get 180 for all windows ceramic? Oh, can get you 180 for all windows ceramic at Sounds Good Stereo. Yeah. We have cartoons. We have a lot of places that'll charge less money. They make ceramic film rolls for under $200. It's not the same stuff, though. I can buy a t-shirt for $5. I can buy one for $100. There's just going to be differences. And there's also a point where those differences don't really matter. And they might matter more to some people than others. So the films that I carry, we obviously want them to be top performing films, but I also don't want to have to worry about them failing. So it's figuring out what film brands to go with where I'm not worried of something coming back a couple years down the road, all bubbled and discolored. Okay, so we got to clean off the inside. I have a clay bar in there. I have probably need a couple other little things, but I'm going to try this head mount. And then I'm going to put this camera on it. So you guys, unfortunately, are going to have to be sideways for a bit. Oh, clip. There we go. So sorry that this is going to be sideways. But, you know, sometimes we have to try things. And we'll see how this works. I need a vertical mount. I don't have one for this yet. So flip your phone sideways. Oh, it's been a while since I've done this too. We might go back to a neck mount. We'll see. But I'm trying to show what I can from working on this, and a neck mount is just not the way to go. It's good for the rest of the car. But please, give me some feedback. I'm going to take a clay bar, and I'm going to dust this off. I'm going to reach down as far as I can. But you see that discoloring on the clay bar? That's the main reason why. We got that. Let me grab a couple more towels. Yeah, which sideways? Do you like that gel better? I think it's the best for the money, period. I don't feel like that's the route I always go with products. I just it's what, $40 a gallon? I haven't seen any really usable differences. So it dries clean. I'm very happy with it. It works great. So we're gonna squeegee across the lines. And then reach down as far as we can. The cord goes down really far. And honestly, we just gotta use a little bit of water to our advantage. And the risk is, otherwise, is to me not having a clean job. So I'll run that risk there by spraying that. So this is all ready to go. Do I have a towel here? I'll get one. I didn't spray the gel on the inside. On back windows, like, you absolutely can. I just didn't. I don't have a lot of space. Should I just spray some on there, though? All right, we're gonna peel this. Now we're gonna lift it off the window. Holy delay. Is it more? We're gonna fling it in there. We're gonna catch it. Right like that. You guys are gonna have a almost better view than me. So we crawl back into the car, and then we're gonna pull the film to our fingertips. We're gonna spread it out because these headrests do not remove. We're gonna go over the top, avoid catching on anything. And we wanna get this as far on the glass as we can. And we start with flattening out the bottom edge. And when we do that, we just go little by little. Keeping the bottom edge flat is gonna help the whole thing drag down the window. And then when we do that, we can then put some film on the headliner. This has gotta go, as you can tell, really far down. But we don't want it to touch the headliner. That's the game. See, and it holds. When you get enough of it on the window, it kind of stays in place. So I'm not really worried about keeping film stuck on the glass. I'm trying to get it to slide where I need it to go. Line it up. We're gonna go check it out. Is it lined up all the way down? Hard to tell here. Looks like it. We gotta make sure there's no gaps. If there's a gap, we got a problem. So I can also look at the top corners, because if those just overlap, then the bottom's good. Now we're gonna take one of these. We talked about it a bit earlier. It's a wide paddle style squeegee. I can reach far down behind the brake light, and the point is just to spread out the film so we avoid trapping big air pockets. It looks squeegeed, but it's definitely not. So now we're gonna go over the defrosters with a harder squeegee. Is that the Slim Slam? No, we call it the Slim Sweep. Slim Slam's a little different. Slim Slam wouldn't fit all the way down there though. I didn't grab it. I'm gonna use a bulldozer instead. The cord's got such a tight deck lid, like it doesn't push against the glass, but it doesn't give you much space. See how much farther this will reach? Oops, sorry. Nothing like a head cam to get in your way. And then, oh yeah, I did. I brought a tail fin in here. And now I'm gonna cross my fingers. These are my favorite to tint along with Civics. I'll trade a Civic. They're really straightforward. I just have to stuff myself farther back to get to this. So it's easier to get an air pocket or something trapped behind a brake light. And I'm just looking at each pass. Looks good. Meta glasses? No. Yes, but no. Not for streaming. They're not good for streaming. They really don't stream. They took the feature away. We got air pocket right here. So, not bad, but it's got to come out. There it is. I see it. At least I think I see it. Ugh, it's stuck here. Right along the defroster corner. We need more pressure. So it makes these a little bit tough. Just gotta hit that very corner, knock it either into the defroster line or past. A Titan. Man, that's just a squeegee I've never liked. Same thing with the reach. I just don't like the reach either. Ugh, you fucker. It's still stuck there. Maybe this? If I can reach, where's my bubble? Which defroster line? I don't think I'm gonna get more pressure on it with this. It's like, it's not fixed there. I might just have to pull it back and just respray it. I really don't want to though, because it's just a little pocket. It looks wet. Not like a little trapped air. Corner. Just push really hard. We'll see. Ha! Fuck you. It's gone. We did it, but we should make one more pass along that squeegee, or that line. Pressure. Did we get it? Nope, right here. Oh, I can see where my squeegee just didn't put pressure down. Okay. This head mount is not 10 out of 10 either. All right, good, we got it. Hooray! You see, all this time, you look at tinting for the first time and you're like, wow, that doesn't look too bad. And then you get into a situation like this. And then what a customer does is they walk around the car and they look at everything. And they look at the lower corner and they're like, oh, what's that? And you're like, fuck. That's the bitch about tinting. It's like, you don't know what I went through, and I just got a little spot, man. But all they see is a little spot. And they paid you. So it better look good. That's not their problem. That's your problem. Hooray. Yeah, I like it. Good stuff. Hit them with the old, it'll dry out eventually. Oh yeah, I know that line. See, some shops will just make it insufferable for a customer to try and get something fixed. And you wonder, like, how do they put out bad work and continue? Just charge cheap prices, volume, and then some people, honestly, are never going to notice or care, and some people will. So it's just a sheer numbers game. If I only have a couple people come back out of bunches, did I really have to be that particular? I'm gonna hit the other side one more time. It's always bothered me to do mediocre work. And I was trained in a lot of mediocre places. And that's why I have my own place. Is because, like, it's just sheer numbers game. Car after car after car. How many can we get done? And then, you know, you have somebody that genuinely cares, and they come back, and they're like, hey, there's some problems here. And then it's the sales guy's job to kind of just like, we got other stuff to do. Use the Titan, I promise, it'll do good. Do I have it sitting in here? I don't think it's in there. I'll tell you, I've got one somewhere, and I've used them, and I've just never been a big fan. I know what it is. But on some of those, there's certain situations where they're going to be really nice. That's kind of what the shortcut is. Certain situations are going to be really nice, but I can just get more coverage with a different tool generally. But on Accords, it's just, just don't have a lot of space. Oh, it's really good for these ones in particular? Oh, okay. I don't get too many Accords. They're here and there. I like them, though. I spoke to the shop, and their next renewal of Tint will be Geo. Wow. That's cool. What you getting? Okay, so this one is for the other side. I just cut 2 patterns. Yep, other side. I just flipped the one. I just layered the pattern upside down. And I put the top edge here, so we're gonna shrink it there. They're a little curvy. They're not crazy. C2 carbon and C2 ceramic. Oh, nice. Yeah, those are really good films. 40-inch roll since I mainly use the plotter. Good stuff. Maybe that's why. There we go. Cool. All right. Do we have a scrub pad? Scrub pad's over there. Let's grab that. Got gel on the other side. This. And I got my mini squeegee. A Tiguan? Yeah, they got green glass. I had this annoying factory match. A Tiguan. I pulled it in and I was like, what? Why is it so green? And that's just something, it's just a classic look. And that's just the way that they do them is what VW said. They should survey their own customers. Because holy shit, man. That one was rough. You don't look like you play Fortnite. I can't say that I've ever played it. Used to play games. I've bought a bunch. Like, I have a Switch, too. We've played a couple things for a little bit. But Tried a few things more recently and just couldn't get back into them. So it generally just sits. What is C2 ceramic? It's a film by GeoShield. It's what we're using right now. It's really nice. You don't play video games? No, for the most part, no. If there's something really good, the last thing I played for a long time that was newer was Breath of the Wild. I played some of the new one. But, I generally work on business stuff, though, instead. Clash of Clans? No. No, I don't have any games that I'm playing right now. You got kids, man. There's not much time. We're losers, I guess? No. No, games are fun. It's the same thing with TV shows right now. It's just like there's not much that we're interested in. End up, for the time being, doom scrolling or working on business stuff. Or trying to keep my children from destroying the house, which they like to do every day. Looks good. I like your Vito profile picture. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. I think it's cool. I just wish there was another Skyrim. There hasn't been anything quite like that, and they've just come out with it. I bought it for Switch 2, though, and I ended up playing way more of that for a little while, and then I just, I don't know. I got Tears of the Kingdom I should finish, and then I just sits. How long have you been on live for now? 10? Was it 10 a.m. appointment? Probably got started at 10:30. Is this just almost empty? Oh, it is. Okay, that's why. That's from yesterday. I was like, I know it's C2 ceramic. I hope. It'd be fun to figure out at that point that it was something else. The shop is sweet. Thank you. Favorite game? Honestly, Skyrim is up there. I like the two I talked about. Breath of the Wild and Skyrim I probably enjoyed the most out of anything. I have a few games going back before that I spent like... There was a game called, what was it, Jedi Knight 2? It had online multiplayer. It's an old game. But online multiplayer was like 10 out of 10 because they actually had really good fighting. So you could just like run around, hang out, and randomly duel people. And then there's like such a weird, fun modding community. So like there's all the Skyrim mods and whatnot. It's just like crazy. But before that, other games, like you had to go into the game files and edit them. So they had stuff that you could add to it. People had done that, just like communities where you could download them. But yeah, I do not really get into anything like competitive shooters or whatnot. Played a lot of Destiny for a while, but that was like PvE. Destiny was a lot of fun. What do you clean the windows with once it's all done? Either a glass cleaner, whatever's the closest. Glass cleaners, isopropyl alcohol. That's what's in these bottles. It's used to clean up the parts. So like the handles and stuff, we got to spray them and wash them in alcohol baths. So these are all just isopropyl alcohol bottles. They do a really good job of just cleaning. Anything that dries really fast is what I've noticed. Like even soapy water, if you like have a wet side and a dry side or two separate towels, use one to wet it and clean the grease and stuff. And then you get all that off and then it'll sit wet, but if you hit it with your dry towel after, it keeps it streaks way down. So anything that really just dries very fast will do a good job. How do I word it to a shop? I have no experience yet, but I have 100 hours of watching and learning. That's just up to the shop. But it's very different. So there's a chance that the shop has seen the channel and like, oh yeah, I like his videos. But you also might just like, yeah, that's not the same thing. It's definitely not. You should try invisible glass. I have a bottle. I just tried it again recently, and I remembered why I don't like it as much as Sprayway. It's right here. It's a really good glass cleaner, but when it touches water, the alcohol turns white. So if everything's dry, it's great. It's just like if I'm doing this, and then I have a wet edge, and it'll just start streaking really bad. I need to fix my towel situation, though. I gotta wash them, but I'm getting tired of bringing them back and forth. We don't have a washing machine here. I gotta get one. But then we gotta probably move out by next year. Next October, our lease is gonna be up. And I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're not gonna renew, but I don't have a solid plan of where we're gonna go. I haven't checked in a little bit. I think I heard it. I don't know what Sprayway. We generally give that to customers. I forgot what's that, but I don't think it's I don't smell alcohol in that one. I don't think Sprayway is an alcohol-based one. Invisible Glass, I think it is. But both of them are really good glass cleaners. You forgot your hat in there. Almost lost that one. Well, that's that. Looks good. She's all set. Well, that's going to do it for today. Doors went well. Back window, I spent way too much time in and out. But thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. I gotta return this thing. I gotta catch up on a couple things, I'm sure. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you later.